Hello, I'm the Pink Phantom. Welcome to my podcast, where we will go deep into the lair of the purple worm instead of down into the rabbit hole, where we'll voyage into the astral realm of my mind and explore the verse of nerd culture. This is Phantom Thoughts. The main part of this podcast is going to be a playthrough of a first edition AD&D party against an ancient, huge red dragon. That's going to be the bulk of this episode. But there were a few things I wanted to talk about at the beginning before we get into that. One is there is a YouTube channel. The name of the YouTube channel is James Atherton. He does he does videos on scenarios that he has played out in a fantasy world using miniatures, war games, skirmish type war games. He doesn't do blow by blow. You're not seeing the dice rolled anyway. He's just kind of telling the story of how it evolved. He takes pictures of the game as it evolved from different angles and just plays out the story for you. It's absolutely wonderful. If you have any interest in sort of the stories that come out of miniatures war games, especially in a fantasy setting, I highly recommend it. There will be a link to it. There will be a link to that channel in the show notes. But on YouTube, if you search James Atherton, Atherton, you should be able to find it. Also, the realm that he has is Halfland, Halfland, and he has an entire back catalog of videos. Some of them, many of them are battles, but he also has some lore videos as well. I think, to me, it's the fantasy miniature war gaming equivalent of the podcast Tale of Manticore. So if you enjoy that kind of solo podcast, that solo podcast Tale of Manticore, I think you would enjoy this. Another thing I want to talk about was a couple of things I've backed on Kickstarter. In a previous episode of my podcast, I did a playthrough of Korg, Korg, which is a role-playing game on basically a small card about the size of a driver's license, and you just have a die and a card and pencil and paper to keep track of some stuff, and you roll through. And it was something I really enjoyed. Well, it is back on with sort of an expansion called Korg Slayer on Kickstarter. So you look up Korg Slayer, and you'll be able to get the original as well, and also this expansion that they're offering through this Kickstarter. The other Kickstarter is a game called Valen Realm, VALENREALM, all one word, Valen Realm. It's a 4X. It's a 4X game. It's about kingdoms expanding into a map. There's a video I watched on it on Meeple University. I'll have links to all these things in the show notes. But it was something. The game itself looks interesting, but also just what really caught my eye was the components and the board. It's a very small board. It's an 18-inch by 18-inch board. It has different tiles and cards with lots of random events and ways and things that can affect the way a battle goes, and different types of terrain and stuff that you can put down on the board as you expand and explore and expand. And it just struck me that these components would be great for using as a way to kind of model or keep up with a domain level play in an RPG or a war game, or like a war game campaign. Just the components could be used for those as well. At the time the early bird was available, I got one of the last 5 or 6. It was $39. One thing I will say about this Kickstarter: the person who is putting on this Kickstarter, he has a game imprint called Praetorian Games, but the only thing on that game page is this game, Valen Realm. He's only done one other Kickstarter. It didn't fund, so it's one of those things where you're taking a chance that this might be somebody that this is a first time situation, and they might not be able to see it through. But seeing the components that look like pretty good quality, maybe finished game quality components on the video, on the Meeple University video, gives me a little more confidence that this will be fulfilled if they reach their funding goal. As of the time I'm recording this, which is basically 7th of May is when I'm recording this part. They're a week into the campaign. They're about 59% through to the goal. It's a $10,000 goal. They were at 5,900 and change. So still plenty of time, of course. I think they probably will make their funding the way it works. But I did want to get that out there to get it out in front of people who look to buy games to play the games, but also games as a resource. You can pull from this game, you can pull from that game, you can pull a map here, a tile there, a set of cards here, set of dice there, and repurpose them in the RPG realm, in a miniature war game realm, and things like that. So I just wanted to go over those things real quickly with y'all. And thank you for listening. As I said, links to all this stuff will be in the show notes, and I hope you enjoy this next part of a first level party taking on a red dragon in AD&D. Quick addendum, between the time I recorded the first part and now Valen Realm has been canceled by the creator on Kickstarter. I'm going to leave the links in to the playthrough and the Kickstarter page just in case you want to take a look at it. All right, let's battle a dragon. All right. So over on the, as of this posting, latest episode of Jules from NZ, Jules, the eponymous Jules, and I said that word terribly, but her name is also the name of first word in the name of her podcast, hosted a round of a group of first level 5th edition characters attempting to kill a red dragon. This is based on a discussion that was had sometime back among a group of podcasters that used to be known as the Anchorverse before the Anchor app went belly up and is now Podcast for Spotify, Podcasters for Spotify. I don't know. Why they didn't call it Spotify, I'll never know. But anyway, the discussion was the discussion got started with, was it more or less likely for a first level party to kill a red dragon in Dungeons and Dragons than it was for a first level party to kill a Shiggoth. Shiggoth? I guess I should have looked that up too. Anyway, big amorphous monster in Call of Cthulhu. And there was a lot of discussion and a lot of debate. And so Jules has decided to settle it. So she had a party of 6 that attempted to kill an ancient red dragon, and it went about the way you would expect. And it sounds like Jules is going to work her way down through the different levels of dragons, ever younger and younger, so they're a little less formidable for the party. So I was inspired to try the same thing, only with AD&D, using the first edition books. So I had a great time rolling out the party and, just bouncing around in my head ideas for the scenario. And I will probably tack something on the end of this episode discussing how I did everything. I try to give the party the best chance to win because I want to see, if you have more or less the perfect party, could they do it at first level? Could they kill in my case, a huge ancient red dragon? And, if this doesn't work, I probably won't work my way down through the dragons. I'll probably see what level do they need to be. So I chose the most advantageous methods I could to generate the party. And like I said, I'll discuss that at the end for people who are interested in that sort of thing because I really want to get to the scenario. So here we go. The party. Sir Gus, lawful good, human cleric paladin. There's a lot of all but one of the characters is either multi-classed or dual-classed if they're human. And that's a little cheesy, I understand, but here we go. Sir Gus, lawful good, human cleric paladin. Known for the big tent he uses to house the valets that support the party, as well as 2 hired longbowmen, Paul and Quinn. Also known for the standard on his shield featuring the 3 rings of his family, and his penchant for pratfalls to break the tension during stressful situations. Edgar Greystoke, neutral good, human, ranger druid. Lost in the wilderness as a child, his love of the outdoors led him to the life of briefly a ranger and then a druid. Cudgel the Mighty. Neutral good human. When he realized his courage didn't quite match his self-appointed moniker, he switched from being a fighter to a magic user. Sven Sviglig from Svensson. Neutral good halfling fighter. No one is sure if Svensson is how you actually pronounce his homestead because of his heavy accent. When a few cups in at the tavern, he boasts he was sent away from his homeland because they were jealous of his horned helmet. Bernie Keebler. Neutral good elf fighter cleric thief. For some reason, his gauntlets look like mittens, and his passion for taking from the rich and greedy to redistribute to the poor is only matched by his love of baked goods. And finally, Katya Rasputin. Lawful good, half-elf, fighter, cleric, magic user. They say you will be hypnotized if you stare too long into her blue eyes, but it could just be her psionic abilities. The queen believed she could cure her son. Questing to confront the red dragon, but unable to find it, they had been delving into nearby scorched ruins when a message arrived from one of their valets that the dragon had been spotted in the hills to the west. They tracked down a cave with signs of burning ashes along the outside edge, and they strategized to spread out, surround, and try to lure the dragon into an ambush. And in this corner, from the lizard that's also a wizard, bringing the heat before you get beat, 10 tons of terror, it's Pete, the huge ancient red dragon. The first thing we have to do here, rolling some dice here, we got to figure out, is Pete in his lair or is he not? There's a 60% chance. Here we go. And with a 9, he's in his lair. So now another question. Is he asleep? But first, the party's plan is for Bernie Keebler to sneak in. As an elf, he has a great chance of surprising the dragon. But there is a hitch due to some things I rolled up for the dragon when I was figuring out this whole scenario. So the first thing we have to figure out for Bernie, the idea is Bernie will go in. If he can catch the dragon unawares, he'll backstab him, quaff a portion of a potion of invisibility that they got from their recent adventure, and dash for the exit, hopefully with the dragon in pursuit. Hopefully it won't kill him, and then the party will be waiting outside. So we have to figure out two things. First of all, to enhance his stealth, will Bernie go ahead and take another quaff of the potion of invisibility? Because for those of you who are not familiar, in first edition, you only have to drink about 1/8 of a potion of invisibility for it to take action. So you can get several opportunities out of that one potion. Or will he count on? So will he try to go ahead and go in invisible, or will he count on his natural thief and elf abilities? So, and this might not seem like this doesn't make much of a difference, because dragons, when they're concentrating, can find invisible people. But it does make a difference, like I said, for a reason that I rolled up for 8. Because Pete, another role for the red dragon, it was whether or not they could speak, and if they could speak, whether or not they could cast spells, and Pete can do both. And so one of his spells could complicate this situation. So I'm going to give it a 50-50 shot. We're going to roll the old D6 here. On a 1, 2, or 3, Bernie is going to be cautious. He's going to go invisible. On a 4, 5, or 6, he's just going to count on his natural stealthy instincts. Here we go. And with a 3, he takes a quaff. So he invisibly goes in. He's going to try to move silently as well. He has a 20% chance, and he failed. But he's still being very quiet, Now, another question is the dragon asleep? That's also a 20% chance. So we're going to roll again. And with a 0-1, he is asleep. So it turns out it didn't really matter, that as long as he doesn't make a lot of noise, Bernie will be okay. So Bernie sneaks in through a passage. It comes out on basically the southwest corner of the cave. And the reason why it was important whether or not he drank the potion is because one of the spells that I rolled up randomly for the dragon was Magic Mouth. So when the dragon's about to settle in, he casts Magic Mouth on that passage and tells him to say, "Hey boss, you got company," if it spots anyone. But since Bernie's invisible, the Magic Mouth can't see him. So he sneaks in. He sees that the dragon is asleep and has ample opportunity for a backstab. So what we're going to do here is, we're going to roll for surprise. Now, obviously, the dragon's asleep. So that would make it very difficult for him to surprise Bernie, but he could be buried under his treasure, and so Bernie might have a harder time finding him. It might give him a chance to alert him. Bernie has he's got a 2/3 chance, which on a D6 is, 3 to 6. Whereas the dragon normally would only surprise on a 5 or 6. And I may have that backwards. It may be supposed to be the lower you are, the more likely you're surprised. So, but what we're going to do here is, since the dragon's asleep, maybe the dragon has placed himself in a position that will cause Bernie to be surprised. The dragon's asleep, Bernie's going to get at least one shot in. So, on a 1, we'll say on a 1, Bernie is surprised, and on a 1 through 4, the dragon is surprised. And Bernie rolls a 4, and the dragon rolls a 3. So Bernie does surprise the dragon. And so he's going to get his one shot in. There was only one difference, so it wouldn't make any difference. In the AD&D system, if there's a big difference between the dice, when one side is surprised, you can get several shots in, essentially. But in this circumstance, it's just going to be one. So, because the dragon is asleep, Bernie will be at +3. Bernie's using his longsword. He is double specialized in the longsword. No, I'm sorry. He is just specialized in the longsword. So he gets an additional +1 to hit from that. So that's +4. And he gets +1 from his strength. So that's +5. So he gets +5 to hit. And let's see, does he get? He gets +4 because this is basically a backstab, because he's come in blindsiding him essentially. So he gets a +9, which is important because Bernie is going to only hit on a 20 or better, and he rolls a 16. So that's good enough for him to get a lick in. So double damage with longsword, 1 to 12 against large opponents. Oh, and he rolled a 12. Holy moly. Okay. Go Bernie. So the dragon is awakened by this sword just going into his back for 12 points of damage. Well, that's going to be doubled to 24. +1 for strength is 25. +3 for the double specialization is 28 points of damage to this dragon. So Bernie has done a good lick to this dragon. And the dragon is awake. So now we roll initiative. Alright. Dragon rolls a 1. No, I'm sorry, that was a 4. Bad lighting. Okay, but Bernie rolls a 5. So Bernie quaffs a potion and bolts. The dragon dragons can detect invisible within 1 inch. So he can see Bernie. So he knows where he is, basically. So we're going to do he's just waking up. He got hit. He was just waking up. He lost initiative. So Bernie was able to bolt. So will the dragon try to aim at the spot where Bernie is to try to get him with his breath weapon? Or will he try to intercept Bernie outside? So we're going to give that a 50-50 shot. On a 1 to 3, the dragon frees. On a 4 to 6, he tries to intercept him outside. And it's a 6. So the dragon, there's a hole in the roof, so the dragon takes off up, and Bernie bolts out of the lair. When he gets to the edge of the lair, when he gets outside the lair, he left his shield sitting outside. So he picks it up and he kind of waves it around for a minute to shine it, to let them know the dragon is coming, to have the sun shine off it to let them know the dragon's coming, and then bolts down the side so that he can get out of the line, immediate line of sight of the dragon. The dragon comes flying out, and at this point I should tell you whereabouts it is. The others are just kind of crouched down and secure. Sir Gus and Sven Svigling are on their horses. They're kind of behind a nearby copse of trees, kind of at a distance from the cave entrance. The others have their bows out, and they're just kind of in an arc, just kind of hiding. The dragon comes out, and he's looking for Bernie. So he comes flying in and lands in front of the cave entrance and starts scanning for him. So Bernie has had an opportunity to skedaddle. He's mostly invisible, but his shield is visible because he didn't have it when he quaffed the potion. So what we're going to do is we're going to give the dragon... Well, what we're going to do is we're going to roll initiative. So, the dragon... dragon rolled a 5. The party rolls a 1. So the dragon is going to get first go. Bernie is booking it. Dragon's mad. Dragon's going to hit him with the breath weapon. Boom. Here's the thing. The clerics in the party have prepared a spell called Endure Heat. This is from Unearthed Arcana. Endure Heat allows people to survive, really hot conditions over long periods of time. And in the case of magic fire, that instantly dispels the spell, but the person takes no damage. And Bernie has cast this on himself. And at this point, I'm going to list the other folks that they're cast on. Now, Bernie, as I said, had some good rolls for the party. So the clerics have pretty high wisdom, and they got some bonus spells with it. Endure Heat is first level spell. So the people with Endure Heat on them are Bernie, Sven, Sir Gus, and Sir Gus's horse. And you'll see why the horse. You'll see that in a minute. So Bernie takes the full blast of this breath weapon, which the dragon can only use 3 times a day. But I figure he's mad enough to use it. So now he's down to 2 opportunities with the breath weapon. And he doesn't know that he's been lured. So what happens next? What happens next is the party acts. Edgar is going to attempt to entangle the dragon. So this spell, it's a first level druid spell. It will cause all the trees and bushes and grasses and stuff around the dragon to reach up and grab it. The dragon gets a saving throw versus magic. And, he's got really good saving throw versus magic. His saving throw versus magic is like 4. Even if he succeeds, he's slowed by 50%. And this is going to kind of, I'm going to have to make a ruling about how easily it is for him to take to the sky with this stuff grabbing at him. But we're gonna go ahead and roll that saving throw. So he has to roll a 4 or better, and he rolls a 17. So he is slowed by 50%. I'm going to say that means that it's going to take him at least one more round after this one to free himself, and then he can fly. So what happens next? What happens next is Cudgel attempts the spell. Cudgel is going to try to cast light on the dragon's eyes. So Cudgel casts light, and the dragon gets another save. Save versus spell, 4 or better. And he rolls a 9. So the light spell just kind of poofs into the sky behind him and is gone. But that was an attempt to just keep the dragon from being able to see. So now everybody else kicks in. So now the archers cut loose. We've got Katya and Harl and Quinn, the longbowmen mercenaries. So they're going to they all need 20s to hit. So Katya is specialized in the longbow, which means she gets a +1 to hit. She does not have any dexterity modifier to increase her hit rate. So she's going to get off, but longbow, you can fire 2 shots around. So she's going to get off 2 shots. So the first shot, an 11, that's not going to work. And the second shot, a 12, that's not going to work. All right, so Harl, one of the crossbowmen, and Quinn, the 2 guys, they're going to get off 2 shots as well. Quinn is he's looking for a 20. He didn't get it. Harl has a dexterity of 17, so he has a +2 to his attack. So he needs an 18 or better. He rolls a 4, and he rolls a 6. So that leaves what is supposed to be the linchpin of this operation. The idea was Edgar entangles him, ties him down, Cudgel blinds him so he has difficulty attacking, and then Sir Gus rides in as a paladin. We're using Unearthed Arcana rules. He's a cavalier. He has his lance. He has his warhorse. He is going to come bearing in at full bore. It's a weapon of choice, so he gets +1 with the lance and +2 to any damage. This is another one of the lucky rolls that I had rolling up these characters. Sir Gus beat all the odds with an 1800 strength. So he's got a +3 to hit from that. Plus, because the dragon is essentially slowed, he is, he gets +2 for the charge, so he's up to a +6, and he's behind the dragon currently because the dragon's facing the cave, so he gets another +2 for that, so he's up to +8. And if the dragon was fully restrained, you'd get a +4. I'm going to rule that for this turn he's restrained because he's being gripped pretty hard. So for this turn only, he's going to get +8, +12. But again, he needs a 20 to hit, so he's got to roll at least an 8 or better. And he rolls a 16. Fantastic. So this is what they were hoping for. They were hoping to get him in good because on large creatures, the lance does 3 to 18 points of damage. Plus, he gets a +6 damage for his strength. So it's at least going to be 9 points of damage here. And that one is cocked, so I'm going to re-roll it. And so we get 2, 3, 5. That's 10. Plus the 3 that he gets, that's a +6 for damage to go with the 10. So he's got 16 points of damage on this attack. So they've got 2 licks in, and they have been pretty good licks. By the way, a huge red dragon because it's huge, has 11 hit dice. and because it's ancient, gets 8 points per hit die. So 88 hit points to start. So 2 attacks have cut his hit points in half. He's down to 44. This dragon is not happy right now. And so we're going to go to Cudgel the Mighty. He comes rolling in behind Sir Gus on his horse and dismounts because he's going to come after this dragon. But that's all he can do for this turn. So you got Sir Gus in with his horse. You got Cudgel the Mighty in. He just kind of slaps the back of his horse and lets it take off. And the others are at a distance. So now we go to round 2. So the dragon, a 2, the party, a 6. All right, so the party gets to go first. So at this point, Katya is going to move in closer. She's going to move in to within. They're all, well, Katya and Cudgel and Edgar are all going to move in to within about 30 feet. They're going to move into within 30 feet. The 2 crossbowmen, they're going to take their shots from a distance. And everybody's going to get a shot. So, let's see. What do we do first? Let's do, because he's a large creature, the folks on one side, the crossbowmen on one side, they're still going to have a pretty clear shot at him. Otherwise, this would be a firing into melee situation. So Cudgel, we're going to let Cudgel go first this time. Sven. Sven is wielding, he is double specialized in the trident. So that gives him a +3 to hit. He doesn't get any plus to hit on because of the because of his strength. He doesn't have hit roll plus, but if he does hit, he will get a +1 for damage for his strength. He'll also get +3 for damage from his double specialization. And he is still behind creature. So that's going to give him a +2. So he'll have +5 all total. So 15 or better. With a 7, that doesn't do it. Sir Gus is in on his horse. He's going to use his lance again. He's not charging because he's in there. But the warhorse will also get to attack. The warhorse has 3 attacks. So I'll be looking for 20s. Sir Gus is going to try with his lance. He's just got a +1. He's got +1 plus +3 for his strength. He's still behind him, so he's getting +6. And with a 15, he hits. Whew. No, I'm sorry, that's a 5. He missed. Okay. Oh no, I thought the party was going to get lucky. Okay, so he misses. So next up, we'll fire in the crossbowmen from a distance to this big dragon. They've still got shots from the distance there. Here is Quinn, who has no bonuses. He rolled a 16. Too bad he needed a 20. So Quinn's second shot, he got a 12, so that's another miss. Now Harl, he'll get off a couple of shots. He has a +3, 9, that's not going to do it. And an 8, that's not going to do it. So that's it for the bowman. So Bernie he's going to bide his time. He's still sort of invisible. Well, you know what? The dragon's staring dead at him. So yeah, he's going to take a swing with his sword. So he's at his longsword. He's got double specialization, so he's at +3. And he will have a +1 from his strength, so he's at +4. And that's really it, because he's standing in front of him, so he doesn't have anything else. And that's a 5. So he does not hit either. Everybody else closed in, and that was a mistake because Edgar was supposed to do something else before we moved in, but I already said it, so it's done. So now it's the dragon's turn. So the dragon has just taken this massive whack from behind, and he was chasing Bernie because he was mad at him. So will he turn and confront the two guys behind him, or will he take another shot at Bernie? I'm going to say he's going to turn around. There's two guys in front of him. He's going to hit them with his breath weapon. Let's see. I moved this other guy up. Is he within range of the breath weapon as well? He may be in range of the breath weapon as well. And he is... No. Okay. Just short. All right. Not going to be wide enough cone, but he's going to roll these two guys. But, as I said before, the Warhorse, Sir Gus, and Sven all have that protection. So, the fire jets out, whoosh, and they're still standing there like nothing happened. So he's down to one use of his breath weapon, and he's got to be confused. And so now we go, almost forgot, because he is specialized in a melee weapon, Sven gets a second attack at the end of this round, and I forgot about the Warhorse. And I should have been doing the double bow shots that way, with one at the beginning of the round and one at the end, but I think the party went second last time, so I don't think oh well, anyway, we're going to straighten it out from here on. So he gets a second shot with his trident. The dragon is turned on him now, so he won't get the bonus from being behind him. He still gets the +3 from specialization. So he needs a 17 or better to hit, and he rolls a 1. So that didn't work. So now the Warhorse, go ahead and do the Warhorse here. He should attack earlier. He has hoof, bite, potential 1d8, 1d8, 1d3. So he needs a 20 to hit. 10, 6, and a 19. Ooh, so close with the bite. Hump. All right. And that's going to be the end of this round. Round 3. The dragon. A 4. The party. A 6. Ooh. So very lucky. All right. So we're going to do this turn what we should have done last turn with Edgar. He is going to cast Fairy Fire, which gives a +2 to hit to everybody else. So he casts Fairy Fire. That is cast. All right, so now we're going to hit. So now we're going to go with Katya. So Katya, as I mentioned in sort of the discussion, she got lucky rolls too. She got psionics. So she's going to try to cut loose with her psionic blast. She is close enough that she is within close range of this dragon. So there's no negative. She's got to roll I believe she's got to roll a 20 to hit him though. So, no wait, she's got to, okay, so this is a saving throw for the dragon. This time 6 or better. And on a 20, it passes. All right, so that's Katya, that's Edgar. So now that he's turned around, Bernie's going to backstab. So Bernie has a +3 from the weapon specialization, +1 from his strength, and +2 for being behind the dragon. And so he needs a 14 or better to hit, and he rolls a 10. So Bernie doesn't quite get his sword into him this time. All right, we did Bernie, we did Katya, we have not done, we did Sven, we did Sven and Cudgel. Sven and Sir Gus missed last time. Cudgel is going to fire a longbow. He's off to the side. He's at what's known as point blank range because he has specialization. So he's going to get +1 to his attack, +1 to his attack, and Nope, at point blank range, he's at +2. He's +1 at short range. +2 at point blank range. He gets another +2 from his dexterity, so he's at a +4. And he's shooting a +1 arrow that they recovered on their little adventure here. So he will have a +5 total. Is that everything? Yeah, that's everything. Oh, +2 for fairy fire. So he'll get another, so +6. And with a 7, he misses. After all those pluses. All right, so that leaves us with the two melee guys, plus the warhorse. Sir Gus. Let's do the horse first. Horse gets 3 attacks, has to roll a 20 to hit. 16, 9, 11. All right, then Sir Gus, who is +1 with his lance, +3 for his strength, +4, fairy fire, +6. And with a 14, hits. Nope. Is that 14? Yes, that's 14. Okay. Thought I'd misread it again. Let's see. So, 3d6 +6. 2 1s and a 6. Okay, that's an interesting roll. 8, 12. 12 points of damage. No, wait. 14. 6 and 8 and 6 is 14. 14 points of damage. And then finally, we've got Sven Svigzing, +3 with his trident because of double specialization. +2 with fairy fire. That's a +5. And on a 2, he misses. And then lastly, we've got our two longbowmen at a distance. Quinn, who needs a straight 20. Nope. Another 16. Consistent there, Quinn. And Harl, who needs a 17 or better. And he rolls a 20. Okay, so he will roll 1d6. He doesn't have any kind of bonuses to damage, so 1d6 and 3 more points of damage. So, poing. So a little plink to annoy the dragon. So now the dragon's mad, and it's his turn, and he is going to get the heck out of Dodge here. He's annoyed. He's going to get away from these people that are attacking him up close and personal, and he's going to fly over. All right, so when I had some of the party members move up earlier, I didn't let them cast spells or shoot bows or anything. So the movement, he's going to just be getting away, essentially. He's going to go straight up. I'm going to put him straight up. His fire breath can go up to 9 inches, so I'm going to have him fly basically 9 inches straight up. Now, what that does do is, because of the double specialization, Bernie would have been able to get a second hit in with his sword if the dragon stayed on the ground, but now he won't get that second hit. But the three that fired a longbow, Cudgel and the two hired mercenaries, they will each get a shot. But because the dragon went up 9 inches, all right, we should do a little math here. Cudgel was about 30 feet away, so 30, 90, and then the two crossbowmen, the two longbowmen mercenaries were about 60 feet away. So we're going to do a little Pythagorean theorem here. So we'll bring up my little calculator app here. So 9 inches. Well, it's 90. It's 90 whatever. At a distance, range and stuff is different outside than inside, but it's still 90, and Cudgel is 30. So 90 squared will be 1,800, and 30 squared will be 900, and we take the square root. Oh, hang on, why didn't you do that, calculator? All right, 90 squared is 1,800. No, 90 squared is 8,100, Greg. Doing your math. Plus 30 squared is 900. It's 9,000. And the square root of 9,000 is 94 feet, or 94 whatever. It's 94 yards, I think, outside instead of 94 feet, because that's the way AD&D works. So 90, that would be 9.5 essentially. So that will be at medium range. So that's a -2 shooting at medium range. Cudgel is specialized in longbow, so +1 to hit because of that specialization, and +2 to hit because of dexterity. So it's a +1 total after all that washes out. So he needs a 19 to hit, and with a 15 he misses. All right, so the other two are going to be probably at long range because, let's see, figure that out. All right, so 8,100 again for the 9 inches straight up, plus they are 6 inches away, so that would be 3,600 yards, and take the square root. So that would be about 11 inches. So that's still medium range. That's -2. So Quinn, who has no bonuses, cannot hit. But Harl, who has +2, can hit on a 20. On 18, he misses. So that's the end of that round. No, wait. I forgot about Fairy Fire. Everybody's getting +2 because of Fairy Fire, so that is a hit. So we're going to roll a d6. 6 points of damage. All right. All right, so that means that Quinn can actually hit on a 20, so we'll go ahead and roll that. Now, 14 is not good enough. All right, so that is the end of the round. Oh, wait, before I finish with this round, the dragon now is flying overhead, and when a dragon flies overhead, creatures of 3 hit dice or less have to make a saving throw versus magic, and they will, if they fail, they'll either be paralyzed with fear or they will flee, panic and flee. So I probably could have done this when he came out of the cave, but he was essentially just sort of leaping and landing. So, but now he's overhead. I'm going to rule that the mercenaries being 60 yards away, he's not like right overhead of them, but everybody else is going to have to make a saving throw versus magic. So Sir Gus, he has a saving throw versus magic of 15. Because he is a paladin, he gets a +2 to all of his saving throws versus all of his saving throws. So he needs a 13 or better to hang around. And with an 18, he's fine. All right, so then we'll do his warhorse, because if his warhorse doesn't stick around, he's going to have to leap off that thing. So the warhorse, let's see, what is a warhorse? Warhorse, he's a 3 hit dice creature, so he doesn't have to make a saving throw. All right, so moving on to Sven. He has a saving throw of because of his class, fighter saving throw is 17, but he does have a +4 to save versus magic. So, and with a 16, he's okay. All right. Now we have Bernie. Bernie has it's a straight roll of a 15. And he rolls a 11. All right. So, will he be panicked or will he be running? All right. So, say if it's 50% or under, he's paralyzed with fear. Otherwise, he's running. And with a 70, he's going to book it. All right, so that's Bernie. Edgar, he needs to roll a 15 or better. 19, he's fine. Cudgel the Mighty, he needs to roll a 12 or better. Ready to be a magic user. And he rolls a 13, so he's fine. And Katya, she needs to roll a 12 as well. And she rolls a 3. Alright, so paralyzed, or she's paralyzed. So she's just standing stock still in fear. So Katya has essentially, she is checked out, and Bernie is going to take off at the next opportunity. And let's see, that lasts. See, who will panickers will panic for 4 to 24 turns. So he is leaving the field. So unless the dragon goes after him, Bernie is out of here. And it doesn't say how long the paralysis stays, but I'm guessing it'll be the same amount. So let's see here. 4 to 24 is a lot of these. 60, no, 46. All right. So Bernie is going to run for 8 turns, which is almost an hour and a half. And Katya will be paralyzed for, oh, merciful heavens, the 10, 19 turns. So that is more than 3 hours. She's just, unless the dragon go bye-bye. All right, so we've got 2 people that are essentially out of it. Although Katya, right now, they're still on the battlefield. So now we will roll initiative for the next round. Oop. Roll both dice at the same time. All right, the dragon gets a 6. The party gets a 1. That's not good. Okay. So while the party got some lucky rolls, the dragon also got some lucky rolls. Magic Mouth being one of them. The other one being the 3rd level spell he got was Fireball. So he's not going to use his last breath yet, but he is going to cast Fireball down at the 2 guys that have been plucking away at him. It's a 2-inch radius sphere, and that translates to 20 feet radius. That's 40 feet. This dragon is 48 feet long, so that means that all the melee guys, Sven, Sergus, the Warhorse, and Bernie, are all within that sphere, and their protection is gone. So this is an 11 hit dice creature. So this is going to hurt. It's going to hurt badly. And we get 11 six-sided dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Ooh. All right, so let's tally it up. It's kind of a lucky roll for the party. 3 1s, 3 2s, 1 3, 3 4s, and a 6. So let's arrange these things where I can count them better. All right, so that is 10. That is 20. And that is 30. 30 points of damage. So here's the question. Can any of these guys, if they make their saving throw, survive? Because saving throw is 15 points of damage. Sergus has 9 hit points. Sven has 10 hit points. Bernie has 10 hit points. And the Warhorse has... Alright, so the Heavy Warhorse has 3 hit dice plus 3. So potentially up to 21 hit points. So we're going to go ahead and roll those and see if he has enough that a saving throw is saving. Alright, and that's a 13 plus 3 is 16. So if the Warhorse saves versus spell, then 1 hit point left. Bernie only has 10 hit points, so even a save can't save him. Sven has 10 hit points, so only a save can't save him. Sir Gus only has 9 hit points, but he's wearing full plate armor. And full plate armor can absorb 2 points of damage per die roll. So it can absorb 22 points. So he's going to survive. If he saves, then it will absorb all the damage, all 15 points. If he fails to save, it will absorb 22 of the points, since there were 22 dice rolled. 22 dice. And he'll take 8 against that 9 hit points he has. He'll have 1 hit point left too. So if he and his horse both save, if his horse saves and he doesn't, they'll both have 1 hit point. So let's go ahead and roll those saves. All right, the horse needs a 17, and Sir Gus needs a 13. So let's go with the horse. And with an 18, the horse saves. So he's down to 1 hit point, but he's still in the fight. And Sir Gus he needs a 13 or better. And with a 15, he's fine. So Sir Gus takes no damage. His armor is going to take 15 points of damage on the armor. After it gets to 26, it degrades the armor. Sir Gus. And then the warhorse has 1 hit point left. All right. Okay, that's encouraging. Okay, so but 2 guys are gone. Bernie is dead, and so is Sven. And Katya is still frozen in fear. So there is that. So that's the dragon's turn. Now we have to do the party's turn. All right, so Sir Gus is pretty much out of the fight because of being a cavalier. Paladin being a cavalier, there are certain weapons he has to learn first, and the only ranged weapons that bunch are dagger and javelin. And so he doesn't have anything that can reach this dragon right now. So he's just trotting it around. He's trying to get his horse in order. He's trying to figure out where the dragon might land next. He's going to kind of slide over to be near some of his companions, see if he can get a good run up to one of them before, if they get attacked, the dragon comes down to attack them. So we're going to go to Edgar. Edgar is going to use his longbow. He's specialized in longbow, so he's got a +1 to hit. Let's see what range. Edgar it's kind of right above Edgar. He's basically got the same range as it's medium range, so it's going to be -2. And does he have any bonuses for dexterity? He does not. So -2 +2 for the fairy fire. So rolling a 5. He needed 20. Oh well, so much for Edgar. All right, so we got Cudgel. We've got, and the 2 mercenaries. That's all we've got left. All right, so Cudgel, 20. Thank you, Cudgel. So that gives him, let's see here. He's specialized with longbow. So he gets +1, +2, +3. He gets +3 to damage. 1d6. And he rolled a 6. Whew, got some hot dice here. Good grief. Alright, so Carl, he needs a 17 or better. 11. Quinn needs a 20, 12. And now another round of bow fire. Since the party went second. Cudgel needs a 20. Nope. No, wait. Cudgel needed... Well, it didn't matter. 15. Edgar needs a 20. Edgar rolls a 17. Cudgel could have used that 17. Alright. Quinn needs a 20. Roll a 3. And Harl needs 17. And he rolls a 17. Alright, go Harl. Is that the third time he's hit? Alright, and so he doesn't have any bonuses to damage, so just a d6. 2. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps when you're fighting a dragon. Alright, let's see. Since some party members were killed, I think that the mercenaries are going to have to make a morale check. Yes, okay, alright, so they're actually doing pretty well. It's a base morale of 50%. According to the DM's guide here, let's get our percentile dice out. And see any bonuses. Leader is still there because their leader is Sir Gus, so they're alright in that situation. 25% of the party eliminated or slain. 25% of, there were 8 of them. 2 were dead, so yeah, that's 25%. So that's a +5. Leader unconscious, nope. Each enemy deserting, each enemy slain. Each friend killed, would that be their friend? No, I think they'd be each other's friends. They're not outnumbered. I would say, seeing as how well they're doing, they're not obviously faced by superior force. So we're going to go with, they got to roll 50% or lower. There's a +5 to the roll. So this will be Harl. He rolled a 39, so he's fine. And Quinn, so with a 73, he failed. Oh no, wait, I don't think I added in, what is Sir Gus's loyalty bonus? It's plus 20%, plus 30%, plus 20. Can't read my own handwriting. It's plus 30%. Okay, good. So he had to roll under 80% and was getting a +5. Rolled a 73 plus 5% is 77, 78. So he's good. Does the dragon need to check? I hadn't even bothered to see if the dragon needs to check morale. Let's see. Monster has a base morale of 5%, plus 5% per hit die above 1, so he's an 11 hit die percent, so he's 100% with his hit die bonus. Does he have anything that would add to the roll, though? Let's see here. Each enemy slain minus 10% from the roll, so he's minus 20%. Yeah, no, the dragon's not going anywhere, even though he's been whittled down to, where is he down to? 10? Yeah, 10 hit points now. So this will be a telling next round here. Next round, the dragon 4, the party 6. Another round of bows. All right, let's do Cuddle's bonuses because I didn't really add all those up. Did I? +1 to hit. Based on dexterity, he's got 2 more to hit, plus 2 more to hit. So +3. And Fairy Fire is still going. So he's +5. Do we have any other bonuses? Oh, and he's using +1 arrows, so he's +6. And he rolls another 20. I wish Quinn would roll some of these 20s. All right, so he's going to get +3 to damage plus the roll. This time he rolls a 1. I shouldn't have said hot dice, should I? +1 for being a specialist. +1 for the arrows. So that's going to be a total of 3. All right, Quinn needs a 20. No, wait, he needs 18 because of Fairy Fire. 19. Good on you, Quinn. Getting in the fight here. All right. Roll 1. That's not a D8. It's D6. 1 D6. And he rolls a 1, and he has no bonuses, so that is 1 more point of damage. Harl needs a 17, a 1. Harl, you're not doing well. All right, Edgar is up. Edgar is up. He has longbow specialization, so +1. No, he's not +1 because he's at medium range. So -2. Ooh, that may have did difference for Cudgel. No, after consulting the tape, he rolled a 20, so he would have been fine. So Edgar, +2 from Fairy Fire, +1 for being a specialist. No dexterity bonus. He is using +1 arrows. So +4 -2 for the range. He is +2. And he rolled a 2, so it wouldn't have made a difference either way. So that's it for the party. Now we go on to the dragon. All right, the dragon is down to his last breath weapon. He can get Cudgel and a Frozen and Fear Katya in the same breath, so he cuts loose. Fun fact, for those of you who aren't familiar with AD&D, the breath weapon is equivalent to the dragon's hit points, which is currently 6. So since Katya is kind of frozen in fear, she's not going to get a saving throw, so she's going to take the full 6. But she has 9 hit points, so she is still alive and kicking. Alive and kicking. Alright. But Cudgel can try to save versus Dragon Breath weapon. It's a 15. Roll a 15. And with a 2, he fails. So he also has hit points 9, so now he is also down to 3. Alright. Getting down to the nitty gritty here. Alright, second round of bows in this round of combat. We're going to do Edgar first. So let's see here. +2 for his dexterity. There's dexterity. No, he didn't have any bonuses on dexterity. +1 for specialist. +1 for arrows. +2 for fairy fire. -2 for medium range. And he gets a 20. Alright, so D6 +1 for the arrow, +1 for specialist. And he gets a 3. So 3 +1 +1, 5. 5 points of damage to the dragon. Alright, Cudgel. Cudgel the Mighty can live up to his moniker here. He can get a hit in. He is a specialist +1. Arrows +1 +1. Fairy Fire +2. And his dexterity bonus +2 +6. And he gets a 13. Well, let's see, it was -2. Yep, nope, he missed. Alright. Quinn. +2 for Fairy Fire. -2 for medium range. Nope, didn't get that 20. He got a 9. And Harl, he gets a +2 for his dexterity. So he's going to be at +2 overall to the roll with Fairy Fire and medium range canceling out. And he needs an 18 or better. Can't read over the lip of my dice tray from this angle. It's a 13, so he misses. All right, so that is the second round of bow combat for this round. So we're going to have to go to another round of combat. All right, Dragon 1, Party 6. All right. Quinn, here's your chance to shine, buddy. And you did. Finally, a 20. Good lick. All right. 1d6. 6 points of damage. Come on, man. Where have you been? And that is 6 points of damage. And that does it. The dragon falls to the ground dead. First edition AD&D party, however optimized it may be, has killed a huge ancient red dragon. And there you go. Proof of concept. All right. This is, I guess, a future Pink Phantom here. I was going through the audio and I realized I made a couple mistakes. They didn't affect the outcome as far as the party beating the dragon, but I had miscalculated a couple of the hits that the party got, which would have meant that the dragon would have had 3 more hit points than it did when it unleashed its last breath. So that Cudgel and Katya would have hit 0 hit points. But after that, Katya was already paralyzed with fear, so she wasn't contributing. Cudgel missed his attacks after that, so and the amount of the last hit was enough to make up for those 3 hit points. So the dragon still would have died at the very beginning of round 6. Now, the other thing that I didn't take into account was I wasn't thinking about AD&D and it being down to negative 10 hit points before you're dead. So the blast from the fireball, which took out Bernie and Sven, if they had made saves, yes, they would have gone below 0 hit points, but they would not have gone below -10. So I'm going to go ahead and roll those saves versus breath weapon now, just to see if they died instantly or if it was something that the party they could recover from. So Sven has to roll. Well, his target is a 17, but he has a +4 to that roll, so he needs a 13. Bernie needs to roll a 16 or better. So we'll go with Bernie first. And he rolls an 11, so he didn't make his save, so the fireball essentially blasted him to oblivion. Sven needs a 13 or better, and with an 8, he also failed. So just a couple little notes there at the end. So what we're looking at at the end of the round, we have 2 party members dead, and we have 2 at 0 hit points. One of those, and the other party members were able to bind their wounds, and one of those actually Sir Gus could lay on hands and at least get them ambulatory, although they'll be a while recovering. The other thing I want to touch on briefly is this has gone on a lot longer than I thought it would. So my overall thoughts on how the battle went and how I assembled the party will be on the next podcast and not at the end of this one. And that's it. But, all the talk about first level parties against red dragons, and here we have AD&D, the granddaddy version, the one written by Gary Gygax himself. We had a first level party. However, all the advantages given to them, but There were good rolls, there were bad rolls, there were good rolls for the dragon, there were bad rolls for the dragon. So I think overall it was a pretty balanced concept. And again, I'm not going to go into all that here, but that'll be in the next podcast. Hope you enjoyed this little battle. The boxing ring bell sound effect is from Zapsplat.com, and the music played during the introduction of the heroes and during the battle are from Pixabay.com, Lady of the 80s and a Hero of the 80s from Grand Project, and Infinity Heroes and Becoming a Hero from Giole Fazarit. And that's going to do it for another episode of Phantom Thoughts. If you have any feedback you'd like to leave, you can contact me by leaving a voice message at anchor.fm/the-pink-phantom, or you can send an email to thepinkphantom1@gmail.com, or you can contact me on Twitter @thepinkphantom. The music in this episode was Strength of the Titans and Late Night Radio by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license from creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0.